Happy New Year, Rangers fan. What better way to kick off 2025 than with a juicy roundup of all the latest drama surrounding our beloved club? And guess what? Tomorrow, it's the big one. Old Firm Day at Rangers. We've got transfer rumors flying, injury disasters to dissect, and Barry Ferguson banging the drum about who we must sign this window. Plus, a shake-up at the top as Fraser Thornton steps in as chairman. Stick with me, because if you thought 2024 was chaotic, wait until you hear what's in store for 2025. Chris Boyd's at it again, isn't he? This time he's banging the drum for Johnny Evans to pack his bags at Old Trafford and head up to Rangers come January. You heard that right. Johnny Evans, the veteran defender with a CV that includes winning things at United when they were actually decent, could be wearing our shirt if Boyd has his way. He reckons we're a squad crying out for leadership, and let's be honest, it's not as if he's wrong there. Philippe Clement must feel like he's trying to keep a leaky boat afloat with half the crew injured. We've got John Sotar, Leon Balogun, and even James Tavernier potentially sidelined. It's a defensive crisis at Rangers, which makes this kind of chatter inevitable. Now, Evans isn't exactly a spring chicken, but Boyd sees him as a steadying hand, a short-term fix to hold the backline together. Thing is, Evans hasn't been sitting around knitting scarves at United. He's played 6 Premier League matches this season, plus a few in other competitions. Not stellar numbers, but enough to suggest he's still got a bit of petrol left in the tank. And let's face it, Old Trafford's not a happy place these days either. Hardly a step up from the soap opera we've got going on at Rangers. Then there's Robin Proper. What can you say about him that wouldn't get you a slap? He's been a letdown since setting foot in Govan. So maybe a move for someone like Evans would light a fire under him? Or maybe it's just another band-aid solution to a deeper problem we've got in defense. Would bringing in Johnny Evans be a stroke of genius, or just another desperate punt in the dark? Do you reckon a former Manchester United player could handle the pressure of Rangers, or would he crumble like a pie at halftime? It's January shopping season, and Rangers are being linked with everyone bar your neighbour's cat. If we're serious about closing the gap on Celtic and saving this season from being a total write-off, Philippe Clement needs to get his signings bang on. The summer's recruitment, a mixed bag at best, with more flops than a dodgy pub quiz team. But January is a chance to right some wrongs, and the rumor mill's already in overdrive. Here are 6 names doing the rounds. Marco Soldo, a proper midfield destroyer, and let's face it, we could use one. This lad's been solid for NK Osijek, not just breaking up play, but chipping in with 6 goals and 4 assists. Croatian enforcer. Sounds promising, especially when our midfield could do with a bit more bite. Joe Gelhardt. The Leeds striker's been linked heavily, and we all know we're crying out for someone reliable up top. He's got experience at Elland Road, but hasn't been getting much game time lately. A young, hungry striker might be just what the doctor ordered. Ikram Reyners, South African forward who knows his way to goal, 17 last season and already in double digits this term for Mamelodi Sundowns. Rangers have taken punts on less familiar markets before, and if he's got pace and finishing, he might just fit the bill. Kaiki. The Almeria defender was one we looked at in the summer, but the Spanish side said no to a deal worth €7 million plus a hefty sell-on clause. With our current injury list at the back, it wouldn't be surprising if we made another move. Lawrence Shankland. The Hearts striker's name is a regular in these transfer rumors. He's got 6 months left on his deal, so a cut-price move could be on. A proven scorer at this level, but is he the big game player Rangers need? Now, here's the kicker. Rangers need to get these signings right, but are we looking at genuine quality, or is this just more bargain bin shopping? Should we be aiming higher, or are these realistic options given the state of our finances? Well, it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back for Rangers, isn't it? Just when you think things can't get worse, James Tavernier is ruled out for several weeks with an injury. Our captain Our penalty maestro, the man who's practically carried this team on his shoulders at times, gone. And not just for any game, for, oh no, it's the Celtic clash looming as if the pressure on Philippe Clement wasn't already heavy enough. Tav's injury comes on the heels of John Souttar being sidelined too. With Robin Proper playing like he's auditioning for a Sunday League team, our backline is looking as solid as wet cardboard. The thought of Celtic waltzing through our defense doesn't exactly fill you with confidence, does it? Now, there's a glimmer of hope that Leon Balogun might make it back in time. The Nigerian international missed the Motherwell game with an Achilles issue, but Clement says he's touch and go. Not exactly the most reassuring phrase, is it? A half-fit Balogun would still probably offer more than some of the current lot, but it's a big ask in a high-stakes derby. And then there's Clement himself, still without an old firm win as Rangers manager. Anything less than 3 points and the knives will be well and truly out. 14 points behind Celtic already, and we're only halfway through the season. Feels like climbing Ben Nevis with a bag of rocks strapped to your back. Here's the question for you. With Tavernier out and the defense in tatters, is this squad even capable of handling the pressure of the old firm? Or are we staring down the barrel of another embarrassment? Barry Ferguson's not holding back, is he? The man's got a point, though. Our defense is thinner than a wee pint of lager, and with injuries piling up like Christmas post, it's becoming painfully obvious that January's top priority has to be a centre half. Forget your fancy strikers and midfield maestros. If we don't sort out this backline, we're heading for disaster faster than you can say old firm. Robin Proper, bless him, has been about as convincing as a politician's promise since arriving from FC20. And now, with Leon Balogun a doubt and John Souttar still crocked, Clement's left stitching together makeshift pairings like he's trying to sew a patch on a burst football. John Sterling's versatility is admirable, but even he cracking under the pressure, as that slip against St Mirren proved. And then there's Ben Davies, a player we paid £4 million for, but shipped off to Birmingham faster than a dodgy tatty in a market stall. He's doing well down south, but Barry's right. If there's money to be made, the club will likely take it. After all, Davies never really adapted to the rough and tumble of Scottish football, and the thought of him coming back to save our defence feels more like a punchline than a plan. The real question is, can Niels Koppen and Philippe Clement pull off a transfer miracle before the January window slams shut? The need for a commanding, reliable centre-half is so glaring it's practically screaming in our faces. The clock's ticking and the stakes couldn't be higher. Here's the real kicker for you. Should Rangers risk spending big in January to shore up the defense? Or is this season already a lost cause and the focus should shift to a proper rebuild in the summer? Rangers boardroom is getting its own little facelift, eh? Fraser Thornton is the new figurehead stepping in as chairman, but before you get too excited thinking he'll be running the show, think again. Chris Jack, the journalist from the Rangers Review, has laid it all out. Thornton's more of a ceremonial appointment, a bit like a football club's mascot in a suit. He won't be rolling up his sleeves and getting involved in the day-to-day grind at Ibrox like Dave King or John Bennett did. No, Thornton's role is more about standing tall and looking important. He's the face, not the man behind the curtain pulling the strings. The real decision makers, that would be Patrick Stewart, the newly minted CEO, and his team. They'll be the ones with their hands firmly on the wheel, while Thornton's there to nod and smile when the cameras are on. To be fair, after the chaos that's followed the departures of Bennett and James Bisgrove, stability's what we need, and Stewart's the man tasked with delivering that. But here's the thing, the lack of leadership at board level hasn't exactly helped matters on the pitch, has it? We're still 14 points behind Celtic, let's not even go there, and our manager, Philippe Clement, is clinging to his job like a wet dog after a bath. Thornton and Stewart might provide a bit of stability at the top, but it's hard to see how they'll make much of an impact if the results don't start improving. The pressure's building on Clement, and with every passing Old Firm defeat, you wonder how much longer he'll last. Now, a question for you lot. If the team keeps floundering and Clement is shown the door, do you trust this new board to bring in the right manager? Or will we be stuck with more of the same old mistakes? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.